you okay, sir? I just want to come out and get me. I've been shot in the neck. I've been shot in the shoulder, in the ribs.
My goodness, that is dispatch audio, and it details what happened when a man opened fire at Colorado State Troopers. This morning, it happened in Teller County. Thanks so much for joining us at 4, everyone. I'm Phil Lipoff.
I'm Kim Christensen. 2 troopers were injured and are expected to recover. Late today, we learned the man who shot them is dead. 9 News reporter Rhea Jha joins us from Woodland Park, where this all happened. And Rhea, this started as an attempted traffic stop. It ended at a home, though, nearby, where the suspect was working.
Yeah, we're right actually near that home where that manhunt ended and where law enforcement eventually shot that suspect. It's less than 2 miles away from that initial traffic stop. There is still a huge law enforcement presence here as this investigation continues. I spoke with the homeowner who said that suspect is actually part of a landscaping group that has been working on his house for the last 10 days. Law enforcement just held a press conference where they described 3 separate ambushes. The first happened around 7:15 this morning when State Patrol says a driver shot a trooper during a traffic stop. That was near U.S. Highway 24 and Piney Point Lane. Minutes later, police say the driver passed a second trooper heading towards the scene and shot him while he was inside his patrol car. Both troopers drove themselves across the street to the hospital and walked into the ER. More than 2 hours later, a manhunt for the suspect ended at a Woodland Park house 2 miles up the road from the initial traffic stop. The homeowner says his wife was home alone when she saw that blue Subaru pull up in front of her garage. She said she recognized it from a Facebook post and called police, and that's when deputies arrived. They said the suspect started shooting at them, to which then deputies shot back at the man multiple times.
Look, I can't say enough at how heroic those deputies are, because we don't know what this subject would have done afterwards. He was put down in a gunfight where he was attempting to kill one of my deputies. So quite honestly, I really don't have any sympathy for anybody at this point. This person actively tried to murder 3 different law enforcement officers in 3 different engagements within about a mile and a half apart. That's a big deal for any law enforcement organizations across the state to deal with.
One trooper was shot multiple times and is still being treated. The other has been released and both are expected to recover. State Patrol says both patrol cars were hit. We did see one car with a broken window outside the hospital with evidence markers, but we haven't actually confirmed whether it was one of the cars that were involved. Law enforcement hasn't given us any details on the suspect's name, on either of the troopers' names or the suspect's criminal history. That all is supposed to come out as this investigation continues. Reporting live in Woodland Park, Rhea Jha, 9 News.
Rhea, thank you. At the end of this day, everybody knows how dangerous it is for law enforcement out there. And at the news conference this afternoon, Rhea, they said that these troopers didn't have any warning. The man in the car just started firing.
The man in the car just started firing, and as you heard in that dispatch call, he's obviously very frazzled, but thank God that hospital was literally right across the street, and that way he could get there quickly and get the services that he needed.
Remarkable they drove there. Thank you so much, Rhea. We're going to continue with breaking news, this time out of Gilpin County, where a Black Hawk helicopter came down today. 4 people were on board. Incredibly, again, no one was hurt.
9 News reporter Evan Krugel is at Golden Gate Canyon State Park with what we know right now.
We're told that helicopter was doing some sort of training exercise here in Gilpin County when it came down in this heavily wooded area behind me. Now, we can't get there by foot, but here's what that scene looks like from the air this afternoon. We're told this all happened just before 11 o'clock this morning. That's when Gilpin County deputies were called here for some sort of incident involving an Army Black Hawk helicopter. Video from Sky 9 shows that helicopter down in a forested area just to the northeast of Golden Gate Canyon State Park. Gilpin County authorities say the U.S. Army is referring to this not as a crash, but as a hard landing. As you can see from the video, there is significant damage to all 3 blades on the rotor system after that helicopter landed on top of or near trees. No injuries have been reported, and the U.S. military is reportedly here on site investigating exactly what happened. I spoke with some people who were camping nearby. They say they heard that helicopter training activity here all morning long, but they didn't hear any crash or anything like one. We're told 4 people were on board when this happened. No injuries have been reported. Reporting in Gilpin County, Evan Krugel, 9 News.
Again, thank heaven for that. Both of our top two stories tonight could have ended a lot differently. We're glad they ended the way they did. Live look outside right now where it's a bit cooler and cloudier today with the chance for storms. The sky says it all right there. Chief Weather Impact Meteorologist Kathy Sabin is here with our forecast. Kathy.
You got to love it. It is in the 70s and 80s today. We've got that east to northeast wind, but it's also bringing in moisture for what could be severe thunderstorms tonight. So far, the evening drive underway with no issues, but clouds are building and storms are forming west of I-25. We do expect them to move into Denver, bringing some heavy rain, lightning wind, and maybe some hail. Temperatures much more comfortable today at 83 degrees in Denver, the 90s out across the western slope, and on radar, those storms are starting to shift across the I-25 corridor. Heavy rain, lightning, and wind with that potential for a brief heavy downpour through Idaho Springs, Conifer, and Highlands Ranch in the next half hour. All of the severe storms this hour are in southern Colorado. We've been tracking some severe weather outside of La Junta and Lamar. This line of storms also has the potential for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour thunderstorm wind gusts. So if you're traveling in that part of the state, be weather aware. We are keeping an eye on the Aspen Acres burn scar for potential flooding and mudslides. These storms will roll into Denver over the course of the next 2 to 3 hours. Tomorrow will be a more active weather day with a better chance of rain and potentially hail from storms, and they're going to form early in the afternoon. Enjoy this temperature trend as we move into the evening. Coming up, we're going to turn the heat up over the weekend, the last weekend of August, but then changes again as we enter the new month. I'll time all of it out for you coming up in just a bit.